Ever wonder if your school years secretly shaped you in ways you never intended? We all have memories of school, the classes, the friends, the dreaded exams. But what if I told you that beneath the surface of textbooks and report cards lies a hidden curriculum, a dark side to the school system that might be holding you back even today? It sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? But stick with me. Today, we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to investigate it, like detectives piecing together a complex case. Our mission? To uncover the subtle, often invisible ways the school system might have programmed us. And by the end, you'll see your own experiences in a whole new light. So, let's put on our detective hats. The first piece of evidence we need to examine is something we all experienced: the bell. Think about it. From a young age, a bell dictates when you start working, when you take a break, when you eat, and when you go home. You don't stop working because you've reached a natural conclusion or finished a project. You stop because a bell rings. This system, designed for managing large groups of students, was heavily influenced by the factory model of the Industrial Revolution. Its purpose was to create a disciplined workforce that could follow a rigid schedule, start and stop on command, and perform repetitive tasks. The goal wasn't to foster creativity or deep thinking, it was to produce compliant workers. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever felt guilty for taking a break when you're supposed to be working, even when you're exhausted? That deep-seated feeling might just be the ghost of the school bell still ringing in the back of your mind. Now for our second clue, the obsession with the right answer. In most school settings, from math problems to history questions, there is one correct answer. Your success is measured by your ability to find and repeat that single answer. This creates a powerful mental model. Problems have one solution, and your job is to find it. But what about the real world? How often do complex problems at work, in relationships, or in personal projects have just one single perfect solution? Almost never. Real life is messy, ambiguous, and requires creative, out-of-the-box thinking. It demands that we invent multiple solutions, experiment, and sometimes even fail before finding a way forward. By training us to hunt for the one right answer, is the school system accidentally discouraging the very skills we need most: creativity, critical thinking, and the courage to explore unconventional paths? Think about a time you were hesitant to share a unique idea because you were afraid it wasn't the correct one. Where do you think that fear came from? Let's move on to Exhibit C, specialization versus generalization. From a relatively early age, we're pushed to choose a path. Are you a math person or a history person, an artist or a scientist? The system encourages us to pick a lane and stay in it. By high school and college, this intensifies. You choose a major, a specialty, and you focus on that, often at the expense of everything else. This is great for creating specialists, but it neglects the power of being a generalist, someone with a broad range of knowledge and skills. Some of the most successful innovators and problem solvers in history, from Leonardo da Vinci to Steve Jobs, were polymaths. They drew connections between seemingly unrelated fields. They saw the world through multiple lenses. Our school system, with its siloed subjects and pressure to specialize early, can make it difficult to develop this kind of cross-disciplinary thinking. It teaches us that knowledge is divided into neat little boxes, when in reality, it's an interconnected web. Here's where it gets even more personal. Let's investigate our relationship with failure. In school, failure is the ultimate enemy. A failing grade on a test or a report card is treated as a final judgment on your ability. It's embarrassing, it's stressful, and it's something to be avoided at all costs. We learn to fear failure. But in the real world, failure is not an end point, it's a data point, it's feedback. Every successful entrepreneur, scientist, and artist will tell you that their journey was paved with failures. Failure is how you learn, how you iterate, how you discover what doesn't work so you can find what does. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." By punishing failure so severely, the school system can instill a deep-seated fear that prevents us from taking risks. It encourages us to play it safe, to stick to what we know we can succeed at, and to avoid challenges where we might stumble. This can stifle innovation and personal growth long after we've left the classroom. Now, before we get to our final, most crucial piece of evidence, I want to pause the investigation for a moment. We've talked about the bell, the single right answer, forced specialization, and the fear of failure. I want to know what you think. Which one of these dark side elements resonates with you the most? Do you see its effects in your life today? Head down to the comments right now and let me know. I'm genuinely curious to see which part of this case is hitting home for you all. It's important to remember that this isn't about blaming teachers or schools. Most educators are passionate, dedicated people working within a system that was designed for a different era. The system itself is the subject of our investigation. Okay, have you left your comment? Let's get to the final clue. Our final piece of evidence is perhaps the most subtle and profound, the reliance on external validation. From the moment we enter school, our worth is measured externally. We crave the gold star from the teacher, the A on the paper, the high score on the exam. We learn to look outside of ourselves for approval and for a measure of our success. Our motivation becomes extrinsic, driven by rewards and punishments, rather than intrinsic, driven by curiosity, passion, and a genuine desire to learn. This habit can follow us into adulthood. We might find ourselves chasing a job title, a certain salary, or social media likes, always looking for that next hit of external approval to feel good about ourselves. We can lose touch with our own internal compass, our own sense of what is meaningful and fulfilling. We forget how to be motivated simply by the joy of doing something. This might be the most dark aspect of all, as it can disconnect us from our own authentic selves. So, the case is laid out, the evidence is on the table, a system that trains us for factory work, rewards conformity over creativity, discourages risk-taking, and teaches us to seek validation from others. It's a system that, with the best of intentions, may be accidentally creating a population of anxious, compliant people who are afraid to fail and have forgotten to listen to their inner voice. Now, the big question: what do we do about it? The first step is awareness. Simply understanding these hidden dynamics is incredibly empowering. It allows you to consciously unlearn these patterns. When you feel that old school-induced anxiety, you can recognize it for what it is, a relic of a past system, and choose a different response. You can start by redefining your relationship with failure. Try something new that you know you'll be bad at initially. Learn an instrument, try a new sport, write a story. Embrace the process of being a beginner and celebrate the small steps of progress, not just the final outcome. Second, actively fight against the one right answer mindset. When faced with a problem, brainstorm at least 3 different possible solutions before settling on one. This trains your brain to think creatively and divergently. Third, reclaim your intrinsic motivation. Set aside time to do something purely for the love of it, with no goal of being productive or getting external approval. Read a book on a topic you know nothing about. Go for a walk without tracking your steps. Doodle. Reconnect with your own curiosity. Finally, challenge the schedule. You are no longer ruled by the bell. Listen to your own body and mind. Work in focused sprints and then take genuine breaks. Trust your own rhythm instead of an artificial one. This investigation into the dark side of the school system isn't meant to be a negative critique, but a call to consciousness. It's about taking back control of our own learning, our own growth, and our own definition of success. The old system gave us a foundation, but it's up to us to build the house we actually want to live in. We have the power to break free from this hidden programming.
So, what's your verdict on this case? Do you think the school system has a dark side? What other clues have you noticed in your own life? Share your thoughts and your own stories of breaking free in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation. Thanks for joining me today on this investigation. If you found this valuable, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that shape our lives. See you next time.